Did you know that Sam and Dean almost rode in a Mustang instead of an Impala? Or did you know that the show had 9 different Impalas with different license plates? Or maybe you knew that the price of Impalas surged after Supernatural. If you didn't, here are 20 facts you didn't know about Supernatural's Impala.
I'm in a good mood.
Why shouldn't I be?
No reason.
Got my car.
License plate. The iconic KAZ2Y5 license plate on the Impala in Supernatural is more than just random letters and numbers. KAZ is a nod to Kansas, the Winchester's home state, and 2Y5 stands for 2005, the year the show premiered. This little detail was apparently chosen deliberately by the showrunners to embed a subtle but meaningful Easter egg. And speaking of showrunners, did you know they wanted to give Sam and Dean a Mustang? Mustang or Impala? Creator Eric Kripke originally wanted Sam and Dean to drive a 1965 Ford Mustang, but he was convinced by a real-life car enthusiast neighbor who said a 1967 Impala made more sense, famously quipping, "You can put a body in that trunk," which, in the context of Supernatural, turned out to be literal. Weapons, monsters, you name it. So, the Impala was a natural choice for more than one reason. And those reasons come in the form of horsepower. Impala power. The 1967 Impala used in Supernatural is pretty beastly. In-universe, Dean says Baby has a 327 cubic inch small block V8, consistent with real-life Impala options. In the production cars, there were varied engines, but the Hero Impalas ran powerful Chevy V8. This gave the car the ability to smash that like button, just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, this feature gave the car that deep, rumbling muscle car sound that's become iconic for the Winchester ride. But they didn't use the cars as they were. The crew had to make certain adjustments and modifications to the body. And would you be surprised if I told you that the inspo for this car was Knight Rider? Car inspo. Eric Kripke, the creator of Supernatural, has said he was inspired by Knight Rider when choosing the Impala. He wanted a car that could feel like a character in its own right, just like KITT in Knight Rider. So, after going back and forth between the Mustang and the Impala won, partly because of its huge trunk, usable for their quote-unquote armory, and partly because, as someone told him, you want a car that, when people stop next to it at the lights, they lock their doors. Modifications made. The modifications made to Dean's Baby Impala went beyond just paint. All 9 cars were painted glossy black, except the original, which was recolored, for consistency. One of the Impalas was specially built with removable doors and even a detachable roof, so the camera crew could get tight shots or cut the car in half. Inside, they gave the cars custom seats, recolored interiors, and non-functioning radios. It was enough to make them cinematic, but not totally realistic. Also, the reason we say that we use Impala in plural is because over the course of the show, there were a total of 9 reported Impalas modified for Supernatural. 9 Impalas. There were 9 different 1967 Impalas used on Supernatural over its 15 seasons. According to TV Insider, that total includes a hero car, for close-ups, several stunt cars, a special cutaway car for tight camera angles, backups, and parts cars. In interviews, Picture Car Coordinator Jeff Budnick confirmed and specified that shows that are action-heavy or dangerous require different Impalas for different purposes. And all 9 of these cars were kept in pristine condition by the Picture Car Coordinator, Jeff Budnick. Keeping all those Impalas running was Picture Car Coordinator Jeff Budnick, who maintained them for all 15 seasons. In a podcast interview, Budnick says he had 3 hero cars, 3 stunt cars, a buckshell car, and parts cars, and he made sure they stayed in tip-top shape. He also repaired major damage in the Baby episode from season 11, where 5 of the cars that were damaged during filming needed new headliners, fresh glass, new carpet, and more. But among all of these cars, there's a favorite, Hero 1. Among the several Impalas used on the show, the Hero 1 car is special. This is actually the pretty one used for close-ups, and it was modified to help with filming. They had to remove doors or roof parts, plus it was fitted with camera mounts and microphone gear, so the production could capture interior dialogue and sound more cleanly. Because of that, Hero 1 is more film-rigged than a normal street car, designed specifically for being the main face of Baby. But they didn't keep the original Impala for long. Totaled Impala. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you like the video so far. Even though Supernatural would like us to believe that these cars are immortal and indestructible, that's not the case. In fact, the original Impala that they bought when the show began wasn't immortal. At one point, a stunt car crashed and was totaled. One of the early Impalas was destroyed on set, and over time, some of the shells not used as heroes or stunts ended up abandoned or in poor shape. While the in-show Impala gets rebuilt, some of the real-life cars didn't survive intact. And to make it on the show, every Impala had to undergo rigorous changes. Heavy customization. Every car used in the series had recolored interiors, custom seats, and even non-functioning radios, so they looked good for filming, but didn't always work like real vintage cars. Some of the production cars also had removable roofs or doors to let camera rigs inside, so the car was customized heavily just for storytelling. And something else was changed for storytelling purposes. Side spotlight swap. In Season 3, Episode 10, titled Dream a Little Dream of Me, directed by Steve Boyum, the side spotlights, those classic police-style lamps, were removed from the Impala so the crew could mount cameras. But fans weren't happy with this, so in 2008, they started a fan campaign with the sole goal of restoring them. Now that's why Supernatural has the most awesome fans. But none of them missed the iPod jack. Ripped iPod. Now we all know that the car has a cassette player and radio, but no CD player. Although at one point, the car did have an iPod, but after Dean returns from hell, he notices Sam has installed an iPod jack. So, naturally, Dean rips it out in anger and tosses it on the back seat. That jack is never seen again in the series. But what we did see were different license plates. Changed plates. The Impala carries a variety of license plates throughout Supernatural, depending on season and context. Sure, we already talked about the KAZ-2Y5, but there's also the C45P4, 1973, BQN9R3, 1997, RMD5H2, in a Wishverse alternate reality, and CNK80Q3, from 2007 onward. But the most difficult thing about the car was the shipping. Impala moving. One of the coolest behind-the-scenes realities is that Supernatural filmed almost entirely in Vancouver, Canada, so Warner Brothers had to regularly ship the screen-used 1967 Impalas back and forth across the border for maintenance, repairs, and major episodes. Picture car coordinator Jeff Budnick has explained that customs paperwork, transport trucks, and insurance were practically a full-time job just to keep Baby filming. That's probably why the car got its own episode. Impala episode. The Impala became such an integral part of Supernatural that it even starred in its own episode. In Season 11, Episode 4 is titled Baby, where the entire hour is shown from the car's point of view. In that episode, the camera never leaves the interior of the Impala, or what's immediately outside, making it feel like the main character. But we're not going to reveal too much here because snitches get stitches. But what we can tell you is that you can buy your own Impala. Buy your own. If you prefer something smaller to display, Greenlight Collectibles is well known for producing die-cast replicas of the Supernatural Impala. Their 1:43 scale model of the 1967 Chevy Impala Baby is especially popular. They also have 1:24 scale versions in their lineup, and Greenlight is really one of the only mainstream die-cast makers licensed to produce replicas of the Supernatural Impala specifically. If, however, you want to actually drive one, then there's good news. Fan replicas. If you want to feel like you're on the set of Supernatural and drive Baby yourself, then here's some good news. Now, this is for superfans only. If you want to cruise in Baby, there are fan-made replica Impalas you can rent. For example, Star Car Hire in Northern Ireland has a 1967 four-door Impala styled exactly like Dean's black Baby, complete with a roaring V8, and they offer it for weddings and events. Similarly, Film Car Hire in the UK lists a right-hand drive version that's been built to replicate the show car, available for bookings at conventions or film uses. After all, the actors got one. Why shouldn't you at least drive one? Keeping an Impala. After Supernatural ended in 2020, Both lead actors reportedly got to take home their own Impalas. According to fan sources, Jensen Ackles, Dean, kept one of the hero Impalas, while Jared Padalecki, Sam, also supposedly got a version. That being said, which exact car each actor got differs depending on reports. This was made possible with permission from Warner Brothers at the end of filming, which is kind of cool, considering that cast members usually get nothing from the set. Pre-show sales. Even before Supernatural became successful, Impalas were extremely popular, especially in 1965. In that single year, Chevrolet had a blockbuster year with the Impala. They basically set a record for selling over 1 million units just of that model. According to sales data, about 1,074,925 Impalas were sold in the US during that year. That kind of volume is historic for a single model in a year. And to this day, the 1965 Impala remains one of the very few cars to hit that milestone. But after the show, the Impala received another surprising surge. But instead of popularity, it was price. Price surge. Now, this might be speculative, but some say that the reason Impalas got so expensive is largely thanks to Supernatural's fandom. The price of 1967 Impalas has exploded. Before the show, you could find one for a few $1,000s, but because Baby became legendary, the market soared. According to Autobody Review, restored 67 Impalas are now going for $20,000 to $50,000 or more, depending on condition. Compare that to their price before the show, and you can see a massive spike. Thanks for watching. Here's another video car enthusiasts loved watching.